What's up everybody, it's your boy Phil Porto, photographer, videographer, and educator, and on today's quick tip, I want to talk about how photo presets are a resource and not a remedy. So before we discuss today's topic, I do want to draw attention to my sweater. And it's not because it's cool or because the company gave it to me, but because it matters to me. It's all about a good friend of mine who is a coordinator in the wedding industry by the name of Rebekkah. And she is just an amazing, amazing person. And she's been battling cancer for quite some time. But if you've ever had a medical need of that measure, you know that it is not cheap. And with the wedding industry being what it is right now, you know financially there are hard times. So I want to put a link in my description for this video for you to support Rebekkah and her husband Frankie and help them cover their medical bills and get back on their feet. So please pick up one of their sweatshirts or t-shirts or make a donation to something that really, really matters. We love them and we want to see them continue to succeed and continue to thrive. So now for today's topic, photo presets. I love photo presets. They actually, have done a lot of good for the photo industry. But I also think that they've done some harm in the photo industry. And not the presets themselves. The presets can't do the damage. But I think the misconceptions of the presets have done the damage. And I want to do what I can to show the pros and the cons of how to use a preset. So today we're going to talk about how presets are a resource and not a remedy. They are not going to be the end-all, fix-all to your problems. So for the first topic, I want to talk about how presets are supposed to be a guide, kind of like a GPS to get you to where you want to go. However, when used wrongly, they wind up just getting you to the same exact destination that so many others are already at or are on their way to. And so for photo and video, you want to kind of set yourself apart. You don't want to be clumped in as just another of this style or this genre or your work look exactly like so-and-so's. Back in the day, I remember I used to see a photo from Lauren Appel and I would be like, oh my gosh, that's gotta be a Lauren Appel photo or someone who really, really wants to be like her. Same with Jordan Voth. I'd see a Jordan Voth image and I'd be like, oh, that's gotta be Jordan's work. And so with presets, I feel like we need to make sure that we are using them as a guide to help us get to a destination of our own instead of just using it as a quick fix to get to the destination that so many other photographers who bought that same exact preset are already at. Go on your own path. Don't just try to blaze that same trail that everyone else has been on because it's not going to set you apart. If someone looks at an image on Pinterest that looks like everybody else's, they're probably not going to draw a bride or a corporate company or anyone's attention because they're going to be like, oh, this looks like everybody else. So that is not the goal. And I don't think presets are supposed to do that. I just feel like it has gotten a negative rap that, oh, you use that preset so your work looks exactly like so-and-so's. And that's not supposed to be the case. So make sure that you are using a preset as a guide, not as a final destination. So for example, if you look while I'm editing right now with this Benj Heish preset, the Cascade preset, it is a great preset. And it does such great wonders to an image already. But now I can take it and I can tweak it a little bit. And instead of a immediate right turn here, I can take my own left. And now my work looks a little bit different. So use these presets as a guide. So another thing that a lot of photographers who are using presets don't realize or at least acknowledge is the fact that these photographers who created these presets do not shoot exactly like you do. Their white balances aren't always exactly the same as what yours was. Their exposure might be different. They might underexpose while you overexpose or vice versa. They may not shoot the same camera body as you, and their preset is a little more tweaked to Canon than it is Fuji or for Sony than it is Nikon. And so thinking that you're just going to one click and have this bada boom, bada beam kind of solution is just delusional. You want to make sure that you acknowledge this, because then you can make the changes that need to be made. There's a reason that you chose to underexpose, because it fits what you're trying to do. And your preset that you chose, that you like the colors and everything like that, is a photographer that mostly overexposes or properly exposes everything. So it's not going to have that same feel. So make those changes, and then once again, it'll start to allow you to make things your own, and so that your path is not the same as everybody else's. So another thing photographers need to realize is that we do not need another Lucas Piatek, we do not need another John Branch, we do not need another Benj Heish, we do not need another Phil Porto. We need you to be you. Like, you know what your ideal passion and dream is as a photographer. So do not just allow what we've created or whatever preset you downloaded to be now where you see yourself as a photographer. Only you can be you. We need your voice. We need you to figure out what is your look, what is your style. So do not buy these presets if you're solely gonna become another version of that person. Buy these presets because their work inspired you, and then from that, find little ways to make it your own so that you can then inspire others to find who they want to be. So don't buy the preset if all you want to do is copy that person. Buy that preset because you're moved by their work, you're moved by certain things in their preset, and you're going to use that as the basis for your preset. So don't get me wrong, I understand the appeal. Like, I love Lucas Corinta's work. I love the LKO presets. And honestly, if I lived out west, I would probably want to emulate his work a little more when it came to editing style. But that's not my work. That's also not the areas that I really shoot, so it wouldn't really make sense to have that kind of vibe. I love the KLN presets. They are so dope. And I would use that for some of my personal fun work, but it doesn't fit the vibe of what I'm trying to do as a photographer myself. So if I ever went that route, it would kind of have to be tweaked in my own kind of versions. So use them for inspiration and not as duplication. The next thing I want to say is, do not pick something solely because it's popular and trendy at the time. Trends change. Presets are going to be cool today and not cool tomorrow. It just happens. Not because it's no longer a good preset, but because people's personal preference or trend currently has changed, so people bounce to whatever's next. And I don't want you to do that, because the photographer who created that preset didn't create that preset because it was cool and trendy, but it became cool and trendy because that photographer's preset was dope. So making sure that you aren't just jumping from ship to ship to ship, it is really important, because as you're trying to find your voice and you're trying to find your style, it's going to be confusing to your clients, to your audience, if every time there's a new cool preset, you're just hopping on and jumping on that bandwagon. So make sure that you find something that inspires you, make it your own, and stick with that. Continue to make tweaks if you need to on your own preset, but don't continue to jump from preset to preset to preset. I see that so much in Facebook groups especially. It's this person was die hard with this preset for about 6 months, and then 6 months later they're die hard about this preset for 3 months, then 2 months after that, and their style continues to just change dramatically, and you realize that that photographer really hasn't found their voice yet, so they just continue to scream in hopes of being heard. And last but not least is that presets are not magic. They're not. They are not going to do the hard work that you should have done correctly in the first place. I see so many people post, is there a preset, is there a plugin to fix my out of focus image, or to fix, the fact that I underexposed this way too much, or the fact that it's just not a great taken image. How can I add a preset to fix that? And the answer is you can't. There's things that you can kind of put a band-aid over it, but it's not going to make the image great. So you have to do that work. People think that they can just put a preset on and all of a sudden it's going to be such as that person's work of the preset that they bought. Oh, well, I bought this John Branch preset, and even though I didn't shoot it right, I'm going to now click that preset and look, boom, boom, I have John Branch 4 type style work. And that is not the case. That's not going to be a fix for your errors. So make sure that you are shooting it correctly and using the preset to do what it does, which is be the icing on the top of a donut, or to be the Oreos on the top of a, Dairy Queen Blizzard or something like that. And yeah, I'm a fat boy at heart, and I'm really, really hungry, so I just got food analogies for you, and that's about it right now. But it kind of reminds me of a Disney movie. Yep, here's my Disney reference. It reminds me of Mike Wazowski. So presets and photographers remind me of Mike Wazowski in the sense of the fact that he was so busy trying to be the best scarer, or, be like Sully, or be like the other monsters that he saw in greatness, that he really lost who he was, and he didn't have his own voice. And it wasn't until he realized that no matter what he did, he could not perfectly imitate or emulate, what that other person was, that he started to find his own voice and realize the greatness that was within him, which actually allowed him to then help the others around him be better, because he was strong in his own. He did not need this or that to make him better. He just needed to use those things that were around him to be better himself. And so use presets. Presets are incredible. Presets are great, and use them for your benefit to help you find your voice and find your style. So for the next few minutes, I'm going to edit with a variety of presets that were donated to create this video. So a shout out to Looks Like Film, shout out to Lucas Carinta, a shout out to Ben Heish, John Branch. There's a few that I'm probably missing, but I'm going to edit with a variety of these presets to show that there are ways that you can take a preset, use it as a basis, and then create your own vibe from it. So for me personally, when it comes to tint, I tend to enjoy more of a greenish tint color than I do a magenta. So you'll see me move the slider a little over to the green if the preset is heavily magenta. Same with warmth. I like it a warm image more than a cool image. So if there's a preset that is cooler, I'm going to move it over and warm it up. I like to underexpose, so a preset that tends to overexpose or to properly expose, you'll see me make the changes to make it more something that is appealing to me. So check it out and maybe get some inspiration for yourself on how you can use a current preset that you enjoy and make it your own. And so I want to give a shout out to Lucas at Looks Like Film, John Branch, Ben Heish, Lucas, Corinta, and anyone else who has donated presets. They've allowed me to give a 10% off discount code for anyone who likes what they saw in this video. So if you go to the description of this video, you'll see that 10% discount. So if you have any questions or comments, or are trying to figure out how to make a preset your own, do me a favor and leave that in the comments. I would love to help out in any way, shape, or form that I can. And until next video, God bless you guys.